What is up, Team Flynn? Thank you so much for joining me today in the second part of our launch behind-the-scenes efforts from a channel that I created brand new the other day. I launched it about 48 hours ago, 46, 45 hours ago, in fact. And I wanted to share with you an update on how it's been going and a brand new channel in a hobby space that I've been very passionate about lately, and for use with a sort of an experimental ground for some things that I'm excited to share with you here today, because all of us are trying to create new things. All of us are trying to grow in certain niches. And I think it's important that I also get in the trenches every once in a while. You know, one of the things that has helped put me on the map when I first started out in business was actually openly sharing how I created new businesses. That all started literally on day one in 2008 in October, when I launched smartpassiveincome.com, really sharing how I built my architecture exam prep website and just being very open and upfront about how that all went down, all the things that went well, all the things that didn't go well, and even openly sharing how much money I was making. And I'm not making money from this new channel yet, and who knows if it'll ever happen, but the goal isn't to monetize. The goal is to provide value. The goal is to stand out in a fun space and to be able to have fun and get excited, to be able to make connections, to build relationships, to create content that hasn't been seen before, to not just duplicate efforts of others, but also take inspiration from them, take motivation, and then put my own Pat Flynn spin on it, if you will. And hopefully this experimental ground plays a role in inspiring you for how you can approach the niche that you're into, or the niche that you might be getting into yourself. And as I often say, the riches are in the niches, right? So anyway, super excited and super thankful for you today. And we're going to go into our second half, where yesterday we spoke about, and if you missed that, you might want to check that out later. By the way, if you're watching the replay here today, thank you, and hashtag team replay. I'm just going to do a quick recap for you. We'll do the intro music, and then we'll get into part two. I want to take you into the channel and the analytics and talk about some of the conversations I've been having with some people, and sort of the plan moving forward, and what the future of this channel is going to be like, and how I'm preparing to stay productive, to stay efficient, and not have it like bleed into other parts of my life that I've already said yes to, and that are very important to me too. Because sometimes we entrepreneurs, we love to go full hog with something, right? And then all of a sudden we've forgotten some things that we've once committed to, and it becomes essentially just a distraction versus something that can actually complement where it is that we want to go and where we want to end up. So quick recap from yesterday. Yesterday we talked about the why. I shared with you the plan to launch this thing. I went into the video that we had. Here's a little preview, if you will, of the channel and how it's doing currently. We are at an amazing 424 subscribers at this point. Deep Pocket Monster is the name of it. And it's really exciting because oftentimes it can take sometimes a very long time in order to get even over 100 subscribers. And it was a lot of the relationship building that I did up front that really played a huge role here. And I was even on a live chat last night in the Pokemon space, and I went in with my new account sort of name, right? Deep Pocket Monster. And people were chatting about how I had done it right, if you will, in terms of come into the community, learn about it, ask questions, be involved, add value when I can. And then as a response, the community's been very welcoming. This is the opposite of what a lot of people do, which is like they start a channel with no relationships built at all, and they go, look at me. And that's okay. That's the way most people do it, but that is much more difficult, and you can oftentimes not be coming in with a great first impression if you do it that way. So anyway, super stoked and thankful that you guys are here today. Let's play the song, because I'm just ready to jam on this, as you can tell, but let's play the song and get into this.
This is the income stream to help you achieve your dream, all while we keep it clean. This is the income stream. It's the kind of show where you can come and go, but then you leave inspired with no fee required. The income stream with Pat Flynn.
All right. How crazy. I think we're at like 279. We're like 3 weeks away from episode 300 here of the income stream. Whew. The spin should be your branded wheel for games with your face on it. One side with a beard and the other without, or Crash Test Dummy looking mask. Yeah. Pat in the mosh pit. All right. So let's continue where we left off yesterday. Yesterday, I shared with you the video that launched this channel. One that definitely took more time than just a normal video. I did a lot of editing. I did a lot of B-roll. My B-roll library was really helpful. I just took a lot of different shots of different kinds of things that I have within this space and put them all in a folder. And when editing, we pulled from that folder and ended up using that to sort of create visuals underneath the voiceover that I had. And what was really cool and very important about that introduction video too is that I didn't make it about me until about 2.5 minutes in. You got to make it about the person that's watching the video. You got to make it about something that can connect with them, something that talks in the language that they can respond to, right? So I talked about a lot of things like maybe you do this for the hunt and finding the car that you've always been looking for. Maybe you do this for a business and an investment to try to make a side income or even flip these cards and make a full-time income. Maybe you do this because it allows you to join the community and be a part of a family. Maybe you love it because of the art. Maybe you. Always using words like you. And you've heard me say this before. When you say words like me or I or my, hey, welcome to my channel. Here, I want to talk about my collection and what I can do to help you grow. And it's like I've used 3 me's and my's already before saying the word you and getting you involved. We got to flip the script. We got to make it about the person who's watching this video. And then there's a reason to stick around and watch. And then you have permission to talk about yourself at this point, right? I told a story yesterday about how Tim Ferriss launched his book, The 4-Hour Workweek, going to conferences and getting very interested in other people's stuff first. So interested, in fact, that other people then began to ask Tim, so what are you up to? What are you doing? Oh, I have this book coming out called The 4-Hour Workweek. And everybody supported him with that. And that's the same exact approach I'm taking with this space too. We got the unpopular mom, we got Grandma Goody, Antonica, Travis in the house, Bernard, Peasant Uprising, Rose, all the amazing friends here. Ryan, thank you so much. I appreciate you. I heard or I read that something was up with one of your kids earlier, Ryan. I just want to wish you all the best and hope all is well there. Something about stitches and having to go back to the doctor. Hope he's okay or she's okay. And we just want to pray that everything works out fine. Anyway, let's keep going here. So we're going to go into the analytics right now. So I'm going to share my screen with you. I'm going to pop up on the bottom here just so we can kind of go through this together. And a few things to note here. Obviously, a lot of this stuff is brand new, so there's not much data to work with yet. All we have is this one video. The most important thing that I've been doing when I'm coming in here is, yes, I've been looking at the stats. I've been checking the subscriber count like every 30 minutes. The numbers don't matter, but they're fun, right? And they're encouraging. And sometimes they do deflate us, but we have to remember that it's a slow ride. And whether you get a great head start or you feel like you're coming up from behind, you got to keep going anyway, no matter what, right? So that's really important. And the numbers, yes, we can obsess over them, but they aren't the most important thing. The most important thing when I go in here is what I'm about to show you, is I go into the comments section and I check out the comments that have just come in. So number one, you can filter by comments that you haven't yet responded to. And I see one that I haven't responded to. There's actually 2 here, but this one is just, she left another comment later, so I haven't responded to that. And hey, and I see Samson here and Bill who left some discussion comments on the discussion channel. But for this video in particular, and in fact, if I want to filter by video, I can go into content and I can go into video and look at comments like that. So now I'm just looking at the comments, again, that I haven't yet responded to for this video. And I like filtering it that way because I want to respond to everybody at the start. It's going to be impossible for me to do this, when this channel gets a lot bigger. It's impossible for me to respond to every comment on this channel that you're watching this video on right now. But I'll tell you a strategy on how to continue to stay involved and engage with your community even as you grow. But at the start, like I'm doing right here, getting very, very involved with comments. And as you see, if I click I haven't responded yet, you'll see all the comments that have come in. So there's comments, and every comment, as you can see, has a reply from me and a heart. The heart is something that notifies the commenter that I have hearted their thing, and it gives them an opportunity to come back. It's a little moment that literally takes a fraction of a second to do, but a heart can have people feel very special, and it almost is like a handshake that gets shook back, right? It's almost like a hug that gets hugged back, although we're social distancing, so we're not doing that kind of stuff right now. But very important to understand that, especially in the beginning stages of your YouTube career, you got to respond to every comment. Thumbs up their comment, heart it, and reply. So hello, we are from the Poke Cave, which is another community. I said, honor that the Poke Cave is here. Thank you. Production of this vid equals unbelievable. Thank you. Super grateful you take the time to say so. And again, and there's Chris, by the way, and David too. So as you can see, being very responsive, being very communicative as much as possible. Very, very important here at the start, right? We are going for evil lighting while doing your review. LOL from under. Is it evil lighting right now? No, I think we're good. Oh, maybe it's because of the screen is super white and I don't have dark mode on, so it's doing it that way. I think all the lights are on that are supposed to be on. Anyway, so that's really, really important. And for the first few videos that I do, and for many of them, I'm sure I'm going to do the exact same thing. When you grow bigger, or if you just don't have the time to do this, in fact, you do have the time. You just have to prioritize it, right? And literally, you can just take 5 minutes. What's really cool is that in the comments section, if you haven't replied to somebody yet, YouTube will actually give you some canned responses that you can just click on, and even a thank you or a quick canned response like that, which is super easy, is still worth the effort and time. So what I recommend doing is 1 hour after a video is live, no matter who comments back, come back in, check in, and for 2 to 3 minutes, just reply to every single one that you can. And if you happen to be there as it's going live, and maybe even sooner, get in there and show that you're communicating, because here's what happens. YouTube will surface any comments that you've responded to the top. So anybody new who comes and watches these videos is going to see that not only are other people commenting, which is great social proof, but people are also, I'm going to turn the brightness down because I am quite bright here. You see that? This is just for my screen. So pay attention to like how bright your screen is. See, that's a lot better. Wow, that's crazy. People will see that you're engaging with the community. And if you don't have a lot of time and you cannot reply or respond or heart everybody, just do it for like 2 minutes to anybody that you can. Just rapid fire go through. People are, again, because it surfaces to the top, are going to say, wow, cool, he actually engages with his audience. Not everybody, and nobody expects you to do it for everybody. If you do, that's a bonus. But like with Gary Vaynerchuk, if you go to Gary Vaynerchuk's Instagram, if you go to his YouTube channel, you see him reply to some of the comments. But those are the comments we see. We then psychologically, whether consciously or unconsciously, start to notice that he's involved. We start to feel like we belong, like we have a voice. The person who's responded to represents us as a community, as an audience member. It feels special, so let's do that. Instant ghost makeup, right? That was crazy. Thank you, Bill, for that. Whoa, 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 whoa. I need to put dark mode onto this account. My other one has dark mode because sometimes when I go in there during the chat, it is going to be very bright, but I didn't even think about that for this channel. Okay, let's go into the analytics and just see how the video is doing, by the way. So a couple things I like to look at is I just like to see the sort of video itself and how it's going. This video has gotten about 1,500 views in about 48 hours, which is really cool. I also like to go here and see the real-time update. In fact, if I go click and see more, if I click see more, you'll actually see a much more detailed account. And you can see that obviously, like with most videos, it's going to go down over time. And of course, I don't have yet videos that are very searchable, so it's not going to go up. And I'm not well known in the space yet, so it's very unlikely, although not impossible, for a video to sort of be found in people's homes or browses. There was a person, his name is Stephen Mark Ryan from the channel Solving the Money Problem, who created a video about the Tesla Cybertruck, and that was his one and only first video. But it was such an interesting take on what everybody else was saying. Like, this was just an introductory video, and I'm very proud and very excited about how many views it has. It actually has way more than I expected. But Stephen Mark Ryan created a video. His first video was not, welcome to the channel, here's what it's about. It wasn't like that at all. It was literally just hit him on the head with some content that makes people think, talk, and is noteworthy or even kind of controversial. So this came out a year and a half ago, and this video was called Tesla Cybertruck Will Make Billions, right? Tesla Cybertruck will make billions. This was at the time when the Cybertruck came out. You might remember that demonstration where Elon threw a steel ball through the window. It was just such a disaster. Everybody hated the look of the truck and was just like, oh, Tesla's doomed. And here Stephen Mark Ryan was saying the exact opposite. So a little bit of newsjacking. That's what newsjacking is. It's like taking advantage of the big news things that are happening right now because people are searching and looking and learning about all those kinds of things happening at the time. This is why a lot of Pokemon channels, for example, that have been growing really well are ones that are often first or second to talk about certain news items within the space, new sets that are coming out, new changes in the rules, etc. So newsjacking can be really great. How do we understand what happens in the news? Set up a Google alert. A Google alert, and I have a couple for Pokemon stuff right now, although I haven't really been deep into that right now because I've been going deep into creating content. And again, stick around because I'm going to talk about how I'm planning for the future of this particular channel. But Google Alerts is really important because you can actually create search terms and then have them delivered to your inbox either every day or every week or just the moment somebody else on the internet talks about that thing. And so, or you could obviously subscribe to certain email newsletters or websites where news is often broken first. And then you can come in and, obviously give credit to where credit is due always, but you can come in and have your hot take on something. That's not the kind of channel I want to create. I think that's an important thing to understand and consider. And perhaps we can talk about this in a sec, which is how do we determine what our voice is in the space? How do we determine what our position is going to be? How do we take inspiration from others who are already doing what it is that you are doing, but then take that a bit further and create your own style, your own unique thing? And I'll share with you sort of some ideas that I have. How do you get in front of it so quickly? Again, it's just like, I want to give credit to Rob from Tesla Daily, who talked a lot about this in our upcoming podcast episode on the Smart Passive Income podcast, which is coming out at the very, very front of the year. And he is somebody who creates a daily Tesla channel on a podcast and on YouTube, and he's grown to like 130,000 subscribers. And he's often first to crack some of these news items, but at the same time, he's also somebody who's very analytical and actually is the first person to come up with things and to make these connections. Part of it is just realizing that you have to step up and actually push forward, right? If you always just take a more reactive approach, you're never going to be first and upfront with some content and news that other people are searching for. Sometimes it takes us stepping out of that comfort zone and becoming more authoritative, actually stepping forward and going, yeah, this is what I believe to be the case. Here is some data to support that, right? I think a lot of people do talk, but when you have some data to support it, some case studies and some history behind it, which Rob from Tesla Daily has for sure, it's more believable. And when especially a lot of those predictions or things come true, I mean, you can't help but want to follow and pay attention to everything that this person says, right? So Google Alerts for the win, for sure. Happy birthday, Dawn. Great to see you here, and happy birthday to you. Yay. Cool. What happened to my... Yeah, okay, it is working. I'm just not hearing it. Check, check, mic check. Huh. Did that come through? Yes, it came through. Cool, high five. Have you discussed your opinion on how YouTube ads affect video watch time? Do people leave more often with too many YouTube ads? That's a great question, Chris. And if you have a video that's over 8 minutes in length, you are able to include ads in the middle of the video. Ads on the front end of the video, which you can do after you get 1,000 subscribers and also 400 hours of watch time, are often okay because people can skip through those ads and they're used to seeing them everywhere. It's the ads that happen in the middle that sometimes can leave a bad taste in a person's mouth, in a viewer's mouth. And if you have too many of them, or if they aren't in a good spot to hold people, then it's not going to work very well. And it can obviously affect the channel. It can affect the watch time, which then affects the reach and impressions and click-through rates and all that stuff. So I think really important to understand that if you're going to add ads, do it in a way where, in a place where a person might want to, even if there was an ad, stick around. Some great channels, I can't remember certain names of channels right now who do this, but I know I watch some YouTube channels where kind of at the moment of the reveal, they put that ad in there. And you know what? It's fine. I don't get too upset because it's worth sticking around and watching. I think the most important thing, no matter what, whether you have ads or not, is to have some really good hooks at the beginning of the video, right? A really good hook. So I'm already scripting out some videos that I'm going to be creating for this new channel here, Deep Pocket Monster. You can subscribe if you'd like and just kind of follow along the journey if you want. But I'm kind of combining all the things that I've learned over time into this channel on what works best and what'll also stand out in this audience. Remember, I've done 3 to 4 months of research into this space. Being a part of the community is the best way to do research. Discovering more about, and the cool thing is YouTube's going to help you. If you want to do research, start commenting, start watching videos in the space that you want to get in. Because here's what's going to happen. YouTube is going to serve you other people and videos within that space that you wouldn't have found on your own. And that's a signal. That's a sign that these other videos are videos that, you probably want to watch as somebody who's doing research, because YouTube thinks that you're doing it because you're a fan or interested in that topic, and you are. You just so happen to be interested in it in a way where you're also paying attention to who the players are, where people are hanging out, what the hot topics are, and all that kind of stuff, right? So use YouTube to your favor when doing research. And I started to find that when I started to dig deeper into the Pokemon community in YouTube, YouTube started serving me other people who I then went deeper into and started to discover. And guess what? I built relationships with a lot of those people. I was just so blown away that this was yesterday. There was a podcast called Poke Tea Time. There's two guys, Yizzy and Shivam, who get together and they have tea together and they just talk about some of the trends and some of the things that are happening in Pokemon. They do it like 2 to 3 times a week. And it just so happened that at the 43-minute mark, they had mentioned my name and said, hey, there's this new guy, Pat Flynn. His channel's really great. Like his quality of his content is really amazing. And it was a nice little shout out, sort of organically. And it was surprising, but it also wasn't surprising, because I've been involved in their chat, in their live chat, asking questions, participating. And then yesterday, I had an amazing moment where this was actually 2 days ago. So randomly, Yizzy, one of the hosts of that podcast, said, awesome intro prologue on your new channel. I'm inspired because of the quality of the content in store, and I know you have been a sponge in the Pokemon community the past month. Best of luck to you on your Pokemon endeavor. And then I've just had a chat with him saying that means a lot. If there's anything I can do to help you, let me know. This was sort of magnetically happening, right? Because number one, really focused on what I could bring different to the space. The video, immediately you see it's different than all the other videos that are out there, and that was very purposeful. The other co-host, whose name is Shivam, reached out, and he said, oh no, he didn't reach out. I reached out to him. And I said, because he shared this. He shared a little Instagram story saying, immediately subscribed when I saw this, stoked to see Pat Flynn pop up in the Poke Tea Time podcast regularly and be a part of the community. Is this not proof that showing up in a community is beneficial? I think so many of us, again, are like imagining that we could start up a channel and then immediately, with no work at all, be found. And we do see the cases of this. Again, Stephen Mark Ryan from Solving the Money Problem, his first video had 785,000 views in like 2 days. Very unlikely though. Most cases, we need to go in and be a part of the community and talk and actually participate. And this is how we get to understand what is working, what's not. A lot of these people who are in the space that you're in already have already paved the way. And there are clues if you just look a little bit deeper on what the community wants, what they don't want, right? What kinds of videos are these people creating that actually do get a lot of, interest? It's just really exciting, and it's really neat because then you don't have to guess as much. Yes, it's always going to feel like a guess, but at least if you stack these things in your favor, you're going to do a much better job. But besides, like what most people do, like I said, they put a video up there and then it's like crickets and you just feel like a nincompoop. That's okay. You learn, you keep going, and you do better, right? So true. Show up for other people. Thank you, Doug. So another example of this is there is a Pokemon YouTube creator who's like old school, like legit been doing this for a decade, and he's known in the space as like one of the legends. TCA Gaming is the name of his channel. His name is Rusty. Couple things. I noticed that the other day that he came out with a video that was sort of just a very emotional video where he didn't say a word, but it was like pictures of his father. He had just lost his father. And I reached out to him, both in the comment section and here on Instagram. And I said, hey, Rusty, I'm so sorry to hear about your father. Thank you for that video. It was very emotional. It was great to get to know, even just for a few seconds, kind of what he had done for you. And I know that, if you need anything, let me know. Right? Just like be a human being. What if I had gone out and said, hey, Rusty, like I saw that your father, had passed away. I'm so sorry to hear that. By the way, I'm launching a new YouTube channel and I'd love for you to support it. Well, what? Like you'd come across as an absolute jerk, right? Humans and feelings first before asking for anything, right? And so a couple weeks go by and I messaged him yesterday and I said, Where is he? I said, hey, Rusty, just wanted to say thank you. You were one of the big inspirations for me for starting my channel. I know you've paved the way for many other YouTube creators here, and I hope to bring something different. I appreciate you. Thank you. No link. Here, check out my video, watch my channel. No, just a thank you. And without sharing a link, here was his reply. I appreciate that. I hope you dig deep into Pokemon smiley face. I hope you dig deep into Pokemon. Deep, 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 deep. He found it. I didn't even have to link to it, right? So I think that a lot of times we feel that we have to just be so upfront with people. But I think, again, the most important lesson that I've learned with regards to here and not just this space, but over time is that when you can stop trying to be so interesting and start getting interested, it always comes back. And you don't do it because it's going to come back. You do it because it's almost like, there's so many analogies, but I'm just going to say, like, just help others, and the universe has this amazing way of paying you back, right? And it's sometimes going to take a slower route. Sometimes you could have some great momentum right at the start. And so far, we've been having some really good momentum, and I'm very excited about that, right? Now let's go a little bit deeper into this video. Key moments for the audience retention. So this is kind of new within YouTube, in fact, which is really interesting, right? So the idea that I can see, so 40% percentage viewed, which is not bad. I mean, it could be better. It's interesting because at the 2-minute, 14-second mark, actually, let's watch this video together and see where is 2 minutes and 14 seconds. Again, that's average though. So I just have to watch this because I absolutely love the way it was put together. Little ASMR, Pokemon ASMR for you. Okay, anyway. 2 minutes, 10 seconds. Okay, so I'm already in and people are watching. 2 minutes, 10 seconds. Okay, so interesting.
Legend is in the Poke Cave. It's Pat Flynn.
I'm an entrepreneur. I built a 7-figure online business. I have a podcast with over 65 million downloads. I've co-invented a physical... So 210 is right there. Now it's interesting because a lot of people will go, oh, 210, this is the part where you're talking about yourself, Pat, so you should stop talking about yourself. In most cases, that's great advice, but at the same time, remember, that's the average. Just because that's the number, I mean, many people stuck around all the way through, and many people leave right away, right? And that's going to insert a number in the middle. Does that mean you take out that exact minute in the middle? No. This is just kind of where that number ends up. So you got to be careful, right? But what's really cool is it's really important to talk about yourself, but obviously not be cocky about it. But you need some proof, and this is why this section is here, but I didn't start with it. What if I started this video by saying, hey guys, I'm a 7-figure entrepreneur. I've spoken on stages all around the world. I have best-selling books, and I make money every single day. Now, I'm in the Pokemon space. Welcome me to Pokemon. Like, what? You're a jerk, right? I can say the same things, but when positioned as first talk about them, connect with the audience, talk about how we are connected in the same. We both have this passion for Pokemon, cool, and some visuals to keep people on, and then go, who am I? Okay, well, let me tell you a little bit about myself. Here I am, business owner, did all these things, inventor, etc., and I'm using some of this cash to then reinvest into Pokemon. I want to take you on the journey with me, right? If Bill says, yes, if you started that way, 30 subs, right? The beardless Pat turned them off, says Ryan. Maybe, maybe. I've also noticed that a lot of Pokemon creators have beards, which is interesting. But I think just everybody, or a lot of people have beards because pandemic. Cool. Poke Kenono in the house. Yo, it's so cool to see Poke Kenono here because we were hanging out in a chat room yesterday on another channel, Poke Kobe, and just having a great time. And that's again what's awesome about it. You're supposed to start your YouTube video in your garage next to a Lambo, right? Hey guys, here in my garage, and I just bought this Lamborghini, And but that's not what I wanted to show you. Even though I have it in the frame right behind me, and you can see it, it's glistening in the frame. That's not what I wanted to show you here in my garage. I'm going to show you this stack of books, because what you need is knowledge. That's how I became successful. Knowledge. I just made that all up, by the way. Yo, Poke Kanono has a beard too. That's awesome. The portion of the vid where PokeRev was talking dragged on too long, in my opinion. Thank you for that opinion. That was a filler at the end that didn't matter if people watched or not. I said everything I needed to say at that point if people wanted to stick around. So it probably, you're right, it probably would have been longer if that wasn't there. But also with the relationship that I built with PokeRev, that was really important for me to include. And in fact, I did get some messages yesterday from people saying, wow, I can't believe you inspired PokeRev and now he's sharing you. So it did help, but I agree it was quite long, and that wasn't really, I didn't want to speed it up or edit it in a way, if that makes sense. So anyway, knowledge. Cool. So let's go back into analytics here. Key moments. You know, sometimes you'll see a moment where literally things just begin to fall off a cliff. So you gotta be careful about that. But here it's kind of pretty steady. You know, you're always going to get a whole bunch of people watching and then people falling off. But when you start to see those crazy moments that drop and fall off like a cliff, where you want to like go back there, and you could see literally at that moment in that video, you got to watch out. Like, don't do that again. This was when we did the premiere. That was kind of an interesting thing. So we premiered this. What a premiere means, and I had never done it before. A little bit risky experimenting with this, but it made sense to do it here. So I premiered this video 2 days ago at noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern. And that means I essentially scheduled it to premiere or go live at that time. Now, if you just use the regular schedule button here on YouTube, what'll happen is it'll just go live, everybody will get notified, and it's just like a regular video that's out there. But when you premiere it, what happens is there's a wait room that shows up, sort of like what happens here in the live streams every morning. And people can come in, and people were coming in a half hour early, 20 minutes early, and talking. A lot of you were in there. Thank you so much, by the way, if you were. And then at the time that it's scheduled to premiere, there was, I think, a 1 minute or 2 minute countdown. And that countdown was not anything I included. That actually was YouTube's countdown style, and they inserted it in there. And that basically keeps people on until it then premieres. And then it played. And as it was playing, everybody was watching at the same time. And that was really cool. I thought that was really neat. I'd never done that before. And I could see comments coming in. I remember making a joke in the middle of that video and then people laughing about it all together at that time. It was really neat. It's like watching a movie in the theater, a premiere, of course. And then after, that goes away, and then it becomes a regular YouTube video, already with some viewers, already with some comments, and no comments, in fact. That's not true. The live stream played. People commented during the live sort of premiere aspect, but then after that, just didn't do anything. So, hold on a sec. Yo, this is gonna sound weird, but I forgot to take out the trash last. I'm just being honest. I'm gonna run outside, get the trash can, put it out there because I hear the garbage truck. I'll be right back. All right. Whew. All right. Sorry about that. forgot to take out the trash, and it's Christmas week, which means we're going to have a bunch of trash. But this is the benefit of doing a premiere video. You can edit it beforehand, and although it's live, it's not actually live, where you might have to get up in the middle and take care of something. So, okay, I'm back. So the trash truck was on the other side of the street. Whew. And I got it back in time. We're good. Just give me a minute. I hadn't run that fast in a very long time. This is real life, people. This is real life. Okay, anyway. Trevor, welcome in. Thank you. What this channel is about building businesses, entrepreneurship. And the way that I love to do that is by sharing through example. I don't just like talk about these things, I actually implement these things, right? And I'm running an experiment, and I'm having a lot of fun with it right now on a separate YouTube channel, and I'm talking about how it's been going. So that's that. We need to meme that. Cool. Website, you can find it at smartpassiveincome.com, or if you want to check out my personal site where I talk about other things. Really, it's about the idea of building businesses that fit into your life the way you want it to be, kind of lifestyle design, but you know, it's not like laptop lifestyle or Lamborghinis or knowledge or, you know, those kinds of videos. It's like, this isn't easy. This isn't something that you can do overnight, but together as a community, we can do this together. I'm sort of the guy who's blazing the trail with the machete in the forest and making a trail for everybody else behind me. I might get a few nicks and cuts, but hey, it's all good. We're going to end up in a great place together. Whew. Okay. Melody, do you use OBS to stream? I am making this live stream happen through something called Ecamm Live. And Ecamm is a great tool for Mac only, but it allows me to do some fun things like different camera angles and stuff. I don't have the camera angles set up today, but I can add fun little things like that. And, you know, just it blows my mind. Anyway, Jenks, TCG, yo, thank you so much for joining Team Flynn Gold. TCG. Love it. It's been cool because I've seen some really interesting cross-pollination between the two channels. Again, oh, there we go. We got two yays. So this new channel that I created, Deep Pocket Monster, again, you're more than welcome to subscribe if you want. There's going to be a lot of Pokemon content coming out in January. And right after I catch my breath here, I'll talk about the future of this channel, how I'm planning videos, what I'm, you know, you're actually going to be the first to hear sort of the style of the video that I'm going to be creating and why I chose that. But before that, real quick, just wanted to say the launch has been much, much better than expected, but the feedback I've been getting, all the signs point to the reason why it's been growing so big so quickly is because of relationships. Getting involved in the community, learning about what people need, and actually stepping up and offering help. I've reached out to creators who don't even know who I am just to say, hey, you know, I love this and I would recommend this and you know, what can I do to help you? And it's been really cool. I'm grateful that the Pokemon community is very, very welcoming. I know not all communities are like that, and people will always assume that you might have an agenda. But even if you do have an agenda, you still have to come from a serve-first attitude. And of course, at the same time, you have to create content that people are excited about. And hopefully with this introduction video, I've gotten people excited about it and all the videos I'm going to create, which we'll talk about right now. Actually, is there anything else that I need to include here? So what did we talk about today? We talked about specifically, you know, some of the analytics and some of the interesting things we can learn, even from video one, where within these videos might we better improve for next time, etc. And not too much to take away here for that. We talked about the comments and getting into the comments and replying to every single person, hearting every single comment, because that notifies the commenter. It might even bring them back. It makes them feel good. Let me heart this person. And how long does it take to leave a comment? 3-4 seconds, right? 3-4 seconds. So this is very simple to do, and it's a very, very easy way to stand out. You know, a lot of times people consider, oh, I'm late to the game. I am not the first person to do this, therefore it's going to be difficult. There's a lot of other people who are creators in that space already who are way ahead, and how in the world am I even going to compete with them? And it's very simple. You have to take the approach and the idea that because you're coming in later, that you actually have an advantage. And your advantage is this. Number one, you're going to be able to see the path that other people have already paved, right? And you're going to be able to tell what mistakes they've already made. You're going to be able to get a sense from their communities in terms of what they like and what they dislike. And that can help guide you and help you move forward and create things that you know that people are actually going to be more likely to enjoy. A good example of this is, let's just say, for example, that you're creating a physical product. Well, it would absolutely behoove you to go to Amazon, find competing products or products that are similar in the space that you're in, or even products that are within the space that you're in, not even the exact same product, and look at the reviews. When you look at the reviews, they tell the truth if you look at the right ones. I wouldn't look at 1-star reviews unless you just notice a whole bunch of 1-star reviews, then it's obvious that this product isn't good. And I wouldn't even look at 5-star reviews, because sometimes it's friends, family, even paid people, which is not cool, that leave a comment. Yo, Julian, thank you so much for becoming a new member, by the way. I'm so grateful that you're here. Julie and I have connected in PokeRev's channel, and we do some fun stuff there together too. But what was I saying? It's weird that my comment on that video is not showing up. It might be held. I'll need to check, in fact. This is actually a good point, Mahal. Let me go held for review. Oh, there you are. I don't know a thing about Pokemon, but this looks so amazing. Can't wait to see what you've got in store. So some are not approved for some reason. They either think you're spamming or something. Like this one says, for example, likely spam. Great video. I already subscribed and can't wait for the start of this amazing happy holidays. There's no reason why that should have been blocked. But anyway, let me just show you how quickly and easily this can happen. So I'm going to filter. So I'm going to click filter, response status. I haven't responded. Apply. And now I see 1, 2, 3, 4. So you aren't late to the game. It's just the beginning. I'm going to like it. I'm going to heart it. Oh, thank you. Thanks so much. And as you can see, there's these canned ones too. Thanks for subbing. I can literally click that. And then I can add, I appreciate you, Geert. Reply. Let's heart this person's comment. And Mahal, I'm going to heart your comment too. Thanks. I appreciate you. You're the best. Smiley faced. Okay, cool. So thank you. Who is that? Peasant. So 3-star reviews on Amazon are, for example, the place we want to go to, because that's where we see people who literally say, oh, this is what I liked about it, and oh, this is what I didn't like about it. And now you can incorporate that into what it is that you're doing. So that's advantage number 1. You get to kind of get a sense when you create your market map and see the lay of the land, where things are and what's working and what's not. And that's really key. Here is the biggest advantage, though, of starting later, is that you are more able to, way more able to than the bigger guys, create direct connections with the people that are there, because there's fewer people, and that's a good thing, because you're able to make them feel more special. And if you've read my book, Superfans, you know that making people feel special, making people feel heard, making people feel like they belong is one of the strategies, if not the strategy, for building superfans, customers for life, subscribers who watch every single video, people who are going to share your stuff. Yo, Poke Kenono, you didn't have to do that. Thank you so much for that. Quick question. What video program do you use for editing videos? Thanks again. Glad you joined the Pokemon community. I'm glad you are so welcoming, Kenono. I appreciate you. Amazing on how smooth he is at watching chat. Thank you, Bill. So the way that we edit, I use Final Cut Pro. If it's an easy video that doesn't have a ton of edits, but I just kind of want to get something out much more quickly, is I use ScreenFlow. In fact, ScreenFlow is a screen recording tool that I actually just use mostly for not just screen recording, but just for editing. Even if I have like a face-to-camera video like this, I'll put it into ScreenFlow and I'll edit because it's super fast, it's easy. It's sort of like a super light version of all the fun things that you can do in Adobe or Final Cut Pro, but so much easier to do and work with. Lex, you mean Jarvis? Because we lost Gizmo a couple months ago, so it'll have to be a costume for Jarvis. One of my editors uses Adobe Premiere. He edits my videos for this channel, but I think that no matter what it is, find a tool that works for you, something that's easy, something that's like quick. And typically when I get into a program, I try to learn the shortcuts as fast as possible. It really does take 20 minutes to like go, okay, before I go into this, I want to sharpen my axe first, right? If you give me an axe, or who said this, Abraham Lincoln or George Washington, I don't know. George Washington cut down the tree and said, I can never lie, right? I think it was Abraham Lincoln who said, if you give me an axe, and you give me 8 hours to cut down a tree, I'm gonna spend the first 7 hours sharpening it, right? And I want you to do the same thing when it comes to any program that you use. Like literally spend the 15 minutes, 20 minutes up front to do the tutorial, learn the shortcuts, and like force yourself to use those up front. Because after 2 days, it's gonna be like lightning fast. And although it's slow up front, it'll catch up. It's like getting solar panels on your house. It's gonna take a little bit of investment up front, but then you're gonna find out that your electrical bill is gonna be like $20 a month for a 4,000 square foot home. And then you might even get paid when you start to bring more energy back to the grid. Anyway, that analogy is at the end. Cool. All right. And you saw how I just kind of went in here and left comments really quick and hearted. And now when I hit refresh, there's going to be less that I haven't responded to, which is pretty cool. All right. So let's talk about the future. I'm just going to say thanks just to get rid of this. Thanks. Okay. More engagement, more stuff to help the algorithm, etc. So let's go back to the channel. Sharpen the saw, indeed. Crazy. 1,400 comments. That's kind of unbelievable. Or not comments, views. And we're at 423 subscribers. Cool. Excellent. Let's talk about the future of this channel and where I want to take it. You know, in my research in getting involved in the community, there's a lot of different kinds of people who create different kinds of content in this space. This is for every space, right? In any space, in the entrepreneurial space, there's people who do software reviews. In the podcasting space, there's people who do microphone reviews. But in those same spaces, there are people who actually, are more motivational and mindset based. There's other people who tell stories. There's other people who get more into the analytics. There's people who do the news. Same thing in the Pokemon channel I found. There are people like PokeNav, as well as Twice Baked Jake, for example, who are some of the Polish Rob is another one, who are very quick to announce things. Actually, I got to become a fan of Polish Rob because he created a video that was related to something that I was doing. You know, that was the idea of scammers in the space and scalpers and grading things and whatnot. And that was very relevant as I was doing research. And so I found Rob. He was under 1,000 subscribers at the time. He's growing like mad now, and he knows who I am, and we've talked before. That's pretty cool. Again, relationships, right? But he's more news. He does what's called box breaks, which is a term that I learned in this space, which is where a Pokemon creator will essentially sell packs like they're a store, and then actually open them on a video for people live. And the people who bought those packs are there, and then they ship them out to them. I've participated in some of those before just to see what it's like, and it's been really fun, actually. And a lot of people go, why would people pay for that? Why do you pay somebody else to open your pack? And I've been doing a lot of research on that, and people do it because they like hearing their name, they like seeing the opportunity, they often don't get access to these packs, and they like having their favorite Pokemon creator sort of open their cards for them. And it might sound kind of ridiculous up front, but it's actually very, very fun. And I've participated, and it's really cool. So that is one thing, right? The sort of news-based people, and then most of them do box breaks. There's some people who are just more known for their box breaks, like PokeRev. He gets access to these really vintage and sort of very, very old school sets that are hard to come by. He has relationships, he has connections, and he's able to get them. He's using that to his advantage, and he's letting us participate, which means that you could potentially purchase as a member one of those packs for a range of dollars, and then sort of have this really fun, entertaining stream where at some point your pack's going to be open, and that's kind of building anticipation, and that's pretty cool, and that's working for PokeRev. There's another guy named Pokemon Radar, who's the one who's sort of stepping up to go, you know what, I want to be the most connected person in the space. And he's interviewing like every single person, which is really cool, and unpacking their story and learning about them. And that's really useful because for me, as somebody doing research on all these guys, he's actually sort of the node for all of that stuff. And that's kind of what he's becoming known for. There's another one, Jake from Pokenomics, who like his video quality is terrible, his lighting is bad, and he'll admit that first himself. But he's like, you know what? I don't care about that because I want to talk deep about the economics about Pokemon cards and those kinds of things. So like people are kind of in the space that I found who, and there's a ton, there's like millions, right? There's literally hundreds of thousands of people who are also Pokemon creators. But these are the ones who have surfaced up to sort of like take their place on the podium, if you will, and discover sort of what's unique about them. Some are unique because of their branding, right? Kobe, for example, he loves Kobe Bryant. at the end of every one of his videos, he takes like a crumpled piece of paper that he used during the stream and he goes, Kobe, and he shoots it, and that's how he ends it. And that's like something I remember about him, and it makes me more connected to him because I am from San Diego. We don't have a basketball team here, so hey, LA Lakers. He played for Lakers, obviously, 24 or 8, and now I'm more connected to Kobe because of just that interest that he has. Y'all have heard me talk about the idea of just embracing your weird. And Pokey Kobe's weird is just he's obsessed with Kobe Bryant, right? And so, and just Pokey and Fun is here. That's so cool. And we were hanging out last night in Pokey Kobe's channel, in fact. Danny Phantom. Danny Phantom is a guy who owns a store with his pop. That's what he calls him, his pop. His dad, Blastoise, is his username, I think, is his dad's name. And he's just super rapid talking guy, very honest, upfront, and authentic. And he helps people who are interested in creating their own Pokemon stores, right? Which is really cool. So he actually talks about what it's like to work with distributors and like what sets are coming and how many one should order and all these kinds of... So again, paving their own niche there. Some things that I've noticed is that, and I think about, okay, well, what like, here's what my approach was. Like, what can I bring special to this space, right? I can bring some visuals, which I've made very clear in that initial video. That's one thing that is of benefit to me is I've collected over the years some really amazing equipment that can make things look good. And so I want to step forward and go, here's the thing that we need to do. With whatever space you're in, you need to imagine people answering this question. Oh, I follow, insert your name here. I follow Pat Flynn and his Pokemon stuff because he's one of the only ones that blank. He's one of the only ones that blank. Or he has blank unlike anybody else, right? So there's multiple things that you can include in there. For example, I want people, I'm visualizing, I'm actually how do they call it? Future pacing, which means imagining what's happening in the future, reverse engineering that to the actions that you take now. I did this when I was writing my book Superfans. It was very difficult to write, but I ended up visualizing people sharing this with their communities and buying it for their conferences. And guess what? I signed 120 books yesterday because a conference purchased 120 books of Superfans. This was not the first time to happen, but it's still happening today. And it's because, and no, it doesn't mean like if you think it will come immediately. That's where people get the Think and Grow Rich, which is a book, Napoleon Hill. That idea of think and grow rich, it depends on how you sort of understand that, right? It doesn't mean that I'm going to think of $1 million and then, oh my gosh, there's $1 million on my table. That's not how it happens. But when you truly believe and you think something, what you think becomes your reality, especially in terms of the actions you take and the confidence that you have moving forward within it, right? And Frosted Caribou, she has really amazing edits. She's one of the only females in the space that I found and has does some really cool things on her live streams. And her reactions are so genuine too. That's the other cool thing about Frosted Caribou that I've found. His clock is wrong on the back table. Me? Is it? Oh, it is. No, it's not. It's like 1 minute off. Okay. Let's see. Poca Beach is the place to go to for breaking news. So I was like, okay, well, what could I bring? So I want to bring some good visuals. That's a unique, what do they call it? An unfair advantage. What is your unfair advantage in this space? You have to utilize this. I interviewed Lane Amon, who is a scrapbooker on my podcast. I think it was episode 17, way back in the day. I think it's that one. I don't remember exactly. But she had brought this term to me, and she was the first one to bring it to me and make it a part of my sort of dictionary, which is this idea of your unfair advantage. Whatever your unfair advantage is, like, use that. It would absolutely just be a waste to not. So I have this video equipment. People love looking at the cards. Let me like lean into that. That's something that's kind of unfair that I have that other Pokemon creators don't have immediate access to, right? Similar to Casey Neistat. The reason why his vlogs took off is because he had some Hollywood experience with his producing and his videos that when he created a vlog, it was like unlike any other vlog you've ever seen before. If you have it, use it, right? So I found $1 million. Does it belong to you? No, you can have it. All good. So that's one advantage for sure. The other thing that I haven't seen really is or the one thing that I've seen from several creators that people love, this is what I discovered, and I'm giving away my secret here, and Kanono, I see you're here, and a few others in the Pokemon community just poking fun. Pokerand. I haven't met him yet. I haven't connected with him. He's one of the ones that is big who I haven't really made a connection with. Unlisted Leaf and Leonhardt, I don't even know if they know exist, and that's okay. Because if I keep creating, I can come from the bottom up, and maybe they might find me one day, and somebody will mention it or whatever. I'm not going to force that. That's how we were able to get the Switch Pod in front of Peter McKinnon. Not because we went to him, but because we had other people introduce us for our behalf, and that worked us out really, really well. But what I've noticed is in a lot of these channels, a lot of comments and a lot of things, especially from Twice Baked Jake, for example, he tells great stories about how he's accumulated these cards. Not every video is like that, but I want to lean into that too, because I do feel like storytelling is definitely a superpower of mine, and it's something that can transport a person from one place to another just by watching a video. It's also something that, if you tell a great story, can hold people on for longer in terms of watch time, which is really important here on YouTube. And I'm going to use cards as a vehicle, essentially, to teach and share stories and lessons. So here are some of the video ideas that I have, for example. Now, of course, I'm going to create things that are repeated in every video so that people can go, oh, Pat, he's the guy that does this, right? Like one example I have is, for example, I'm thinking of, because I have all these packages, I want to start every video with a package at my door and me coming out of my door to get this package. And just every video starts with a different looking package where you're like, what is in it, right? That's a hook. What's in that package? And then Pat opens it, tells a story about it. That's kind of what I'm thinking. I haven't really nailed it down yet, but I have some stories to tell about, and there's reasons why I'm purchasing these things. I don't just purchase them at random. But actually, one of my first videos is about this idea of niching down. You've heard me talk about here the idea of niching down. As I often say, the riches are in the niches, right? When you niche down, you're able to then make it easier for yourself to compete, to stand out, to go find people, to speak that language, to find products, etc. The same exact thing in the Pokemon space I found. When I was asked, after telling somebody, I told somebody I was collecting Pokemon cards, and they were like, okay, so what are you collecting? And I was like, I just said I'm collecting Pokemon cards. And they're like, no, but what within that space are you collecting? When you find your niche as a collector, it becomes so much easier and more fun. And I want to talk about that and share some of my own collection, but not just go, hey guys, here are the cards I have. Here's my collection. I want to set that up in a story and really unpack that for people so that people can also consider for themselves in the future. And again, this is something I'm learning, and I'm just sharing what I'm learning as we go, right? So yeah, I'm stoked to just continue to go deep into this. And so, that's kind of what I'm thinking about. I'm also very, this is going to sound, I'm going to end on this because I got to go to another call soon. But what's really interesting is I've been doing a lot of test videos of like what it's going to be like to open these packages because I want to get the framing right. Again, I want it to look visually compelling. But the thing that I've noticed is that, especially with high quality camera equipment, you can see every detail, right? And I have thumbs that used to embarrass the crap out of me. I used to be very, very self-conscious about my thumbs. I don't know if you've ever seen my thumbs before, but they're club thumbs. They're called club thumbs. And I was very self-conscious about them for years. And now I've embraced them. They're just a part of who I am. And you know what? One of my first videos is going to call out the fact that I have weird looking thumbs. Really weird looking thumbs. Because number one, if I don't call it out, somebody else will. And I want to be the first to call them out and just go, yo, look at this. Like, I'm not going to try to hide it. I'm going to embrace it. I might even make a thing called 2 club thumbs up or something like that. If, hey, we got a nice card, 2 club thumbs up or something, right? Power thumbs. I call them Nintendo thumbs, however, which is interesting because Pokemon and Nintendo are very related right now. So anyway, I'm going to create a video about that, and I'm going to talk about the fact that I was bullied and I was very self-conscious, but the idea of embracing who you are and embracing your weird and how that ties into collecting. And I'm going to show off some cards that are very weird looking as well, that actually have a lot of value. You see how I'm making a connection there? Here, cards as weird as my thumbs, right? So that's kind of how I'm going to approach it. So I want to teach lessons. I know a lot of kids and adults are going to be watching these things, but I'm gonna make them for people and make them evergreen, right? So yeah. The other thing I've noticed is that I got to wash my hands before I go do these videos, because any dirt on there, you can see it. All right, club thumb emote. Just like, bam, like a huge circle on top of a finger. Club thumb, like that button. Thank you. Anyway, this will end the two-part series on the launch of this channel, and I'll keep you updated, obviously, but I want to thank you again for following along in the journey with Deep Pocket Monster. If you might know somebody that might be interested in the space, Deep Pocket Monster is a place to go. Thank you so much. If you just look up Deep Pocket Monster with all spaces, you'll find it. But anyway, super fun. Thanks again for letting me be honest and vulnerable with you. Thank you for being here and listening to me, and especially around the holidays. I'll see you tomorrow, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern. We're going to go 9 a.m. all week this week, which is really cool. Makes it easy. And we'll talk about another topic tomorrow. We might just chillax the next few days, do some just Q&A and have some fun together, and just, crack a laugh here or two. So anyway, appreciate you. Take care. Thanks to everybody who's here. And as always, Team Flynn for the win. Peace out, y'all.
This is the income stream to help you achieve your dream. All while we keep it clean. This is the income stream. It's the kind of show where you can come and go, but then you leave inspired with no fee required. The income stream with Pat Flynn.
All right. Thanks, everybody. And remember, get 1% better every day. Big shout out to IamNorthwestArkansas.com. IamNorthwestArkansas.com for the shirt. And you guys are the best. Thanks for being here, being a part of the community. It just means the world to me. Peace out, y'all.
Bruh.